What's up, guys? Welcome back to Appletree Surfboards. My name is Wieger and welcome to our headquarters. Today we have one of our team riders over and we're just going to have a little conversation about who she is and what her riding style is, and we'll see where it ends up. So welcome, Evelien. This is Evelien Bolle. She's from Belgium, and her new thing at the moment is trying to ride the biggest wave possible with a kite. So we were very happy to help her out with that and design some boards for her. So Evelien, how did that come to being? Why big waves?
It's quite a process. I started kitesurfing and I knew quite fast that I wanted to kite surf waves. So I started kitesurfing smaller waves, got into the GKA, and then I got injured, and while I was injured, the thing I really longed for the most when I was coming back was riding big waves, the thing that I most missed also. So yes, I was thinking about it like during the whole revalidation, which was like 1 year, so it was quite a long time.
And why big waves? What's the fun in big waves?
The fun in big waves is that you're really in the moment. You can just focus on one thing, and it's the feeling of adrenaline that you get of it. It also seems like if you're on a big wave that the time is stopping, so slowing down. Time is really slowing down.
And what if you fall?
You have to prepare for it. The time is not that. It's also really slowing down. It
feels like you're under for 3 minutes.
Really long time.
I can imagine. So let's talk a little bit about the boards. What boards have you tried before? How did you get into strapless riding or surfboard riding? Of course, this board has straps, as you can see, but how did that come about?
Yes, the first board that I got quite quickly into riding strapless. Like 6 months after I learned kiting, because I knew I wanted to go kitesurfing waves, I ordered a strapless kiteboard.
Did you ride it strapless straight away, or did you have the straps on it before?
I was saying it was my first board had insert for straps. So the first time I tried it, I did put 2 straps on it, which didn't work at all, and then I tried a while with one foot strap in the front.
Which is a good one actually for a lot of people, because just to sidetrack, a lot of times when they design a board they will put the straps actually really far back, which is good for doing hard turns, but it's not good for just riding, because you're way too far to the back of the board and your board starts to bounce. So if you want to get into strapless, just using a front strap is usually a good idea, so you can move your weight around and then get rid of it after you are comfortable riding the board.
Yeah, so that was what I did, and I took off the strap and I never came back.
Well, never came back. Not never.
Until this one.
Until this one. So why straps on a big wave board?
You bounce a lot, so you have a lot of more control, and you're more sure not to get swept off your board that early and get a big crash.
Maybe also when you ride out, you have to go over big waves sometimes.
It's quite
nice that you can jump. You can even jump over a really big white water. It's just easier to keep your board. I do actually advise, like, you have to have the straps pretty wide. So if you do need to get out, you can slide out quickly and not be stuck.
Yeah. Also, if you make a crash, if your feet can't go out, you will injure yourself.
Your knee
board
again.
will turn.
Yeah. And then after that first board, what was sort of your experience in riding strapless boards and what's available? And
after my first strapless board was like for medium waves, and then I went to the GKA in Mauritius for the first time, and I made a choice that the board wasn't good for riding one eye, which is a really fast wave and a bigger wave, so it wouldn't work. I also saw a video of another girl who was on the KSP before, and she always crashed in that wave, so I was like, no, it didn't work. And I already had visited Appletree Surfboards with an open factory day, which was a really long time ago when we
were still in Holland with our factory.
Yes, so I contacted Wieger to ask I will go to Mauritius in 3 weeks for the GKA. Do you have a board in stock, or can we make a board really fast?
Yeah, you can't even remember what we did. Did we have one in stock?
No, you did make one. You did make one. It was really fast.
Yeah.
It was an Apple Flap 5.8.
Yeah. So the Apple Flap is a board that we don't actually make anymore. We still have the noseless version. I might have one here, but yeah. So that was our board that we used for the bigger stuff, and that worked pretty well.
That worked really well. So
Yeah.
then I came back to Appletree afterwards, and then I got an Aplino 5.5, and now I also have a Clockhouse 5.6
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
really
Which
stuff.
one do you like the best for the big stuff? Usually the narrower, smaller boards.
Smaller boards.
Yeah. So the main difference between those boards is definitely like there's a lot more rocker. In the Aplino, for instance, makes it really quick and loose, which is nice for freestyle. But when it gets bigger, the extra rocker sort of you lose quite a lot of control due to that shape. And then the Clockhouse right here is more in between kind of board where you have the right balance between control and a looseness, and then if you go to Apple Flap or Apple Flap noseless boards, then you get into you get way more control, but you lose that snappy feeling. That's basically the idea. So yeah, let's talk about this board that you've got here now. So far, how's it been behaving?
It behaves really well. So it was a bit different in the beginning because you have the foot straps. I'm not used to it anymore, so the first time you go out like foot straps again.
Yeah, I just turn it like this, and be easier to see.
Yeah, so
it's actually super small as well, huh? So it's only
it resembles really a lot to a tow board for tow windsurfing.
Yeah.
I did a tow windsurf course last year also, so for me the behavior was quite similar as a tow board, which I liked.
Yeah.
The board is also a lot heavier than a normal kiteboard, which is really good because you don't have the less impact of the bumps on the
less
wave.
bouncy.
Less bouncing,
Yeah.
and I feel when I got into a wave, the board really starts to work and accelerates a lot because there are a lot of channels.
Yeah.
Underneath
flat
the
section.
board.
Yeah, so that weight thing, to touch on that. So we've actually also made tow-in boards for normal surfing, and with those boards, especially when they are for really big waves and in places where there's a lot of chop on the face, which unfortunately when you're kiting is usually also chop on the face. The extra weight helps you plow through the chops. In this board we have added quite a lot of lamination, so a lot of glass fiber, making the board about 50-60% heavier than it normally is, and at the same time you get the benefit of also making the board stronger. The downside is maybe that it's a little less flexible, but on a small board like this it's less important that the board is less flexible. It just wants to cut through anyway. So we took some parts of that tow board design and put it in this one. As you can see, it also has a 4-fin setup. We didn't even put a center fin in because this design with the longer, straighter rail line is just really helps to have that extra fin on edge, so you can actually edge it really hard.
Yeah, it's my only board with a quad setup.
Only board with this setup. So it's funny. So as you can see, maybe this board has a very similar channel situation as the Malus Domestica has, but the outline is completely different. So we have just launched the Apple Peeler model, which is it looks a lot like this board, where the Apple Peeler is thicker and wider, so it's more of an all-rounder kind of shape, where this is really made for big stuff. We decided to experiment with these Malus Domestica channels because what they do is they create a really effective planing area in the middle of the board, which really helps what you say with the acceleration of the board, and to channel the water through the middle gives a really good flat section. But at the same time, your rocker line here in the rail is much more curvy than through the middle, through the channels. And this makes sure that you can really accelerate the board, but then if you want to turn, you still have that rocker line to turn and to get out of the way or to actually do a turn. So that it gives you like two boards in one situation, which we think that helps a lot with big wave riding. Also, you don't necessarily want too much rocker, because normally a lot of rocker is for a really steep hollow wave. Now big waves can be steep and hollow, but they're also very big, so the curve of the wave is always much longer, so you don't need all that rocker to fit in.
I want to recommend riders who want to start riding big waves to gradually build it up. So start in smaller waves and get bigger every time a bit. So not go into the big waves immediately because you won't like it and you will get scared. And also, yeah, you have to do a lot of preparation of the water. So it's not just going kiting in the big waves, but also like do some free dive training and go to the gym.
Find other people that want to do it, never go alone.
So, something like that. Yeah.
You don't want to crash your kites in the middle of big waves.
Yeah, it's a team sport, big waves. It's not like you go out on your own. That's also a big
I think
difference.
it's very similar to tow-in. Like even with the jet skis, you are already a team with your jet ski, but then still you don't go with just one jet ski, because if one jet ski flips, you've got the other one. And another question that I think a lot of people have is, in the big waves, do you feel the wind change?
Yes,
in
you
your
feel
kite.
wind change. You have a lot of apparent wind, so in big waves, cross off is really bad because you will the wind will
get a lot of apparent wind.
Apparent wind. The wind will come too from in front.
Apparent wind, just to explain, is that if you go into the wind, your acceleration is added to the wind speed, and that's actually holding you back, and you can't get off the wave because the wind is pushing you back, right?
Yeah, and you can actually see it in some videos. If you see a video of Nuno, you can see that the kite is like flapping.
Yeah, and also what I felt in the waves that I've ridden, which are, like I said, not super big, but already like almost half the height that your kite is, that you have a lot of turbulence after the wave.
Yes.
You really feel it in your kite, and it can be super dangerous, of course, because if your kite does crash and the wave comes over, then what do? Release.
You release.
Very good advice.
You don't take a kite leash even, because that's
really.
Yeah, it takes too much time to release two things.
Yeah.
I did it before and I have the experience that's not a good idea.
Okay. Yeah, it's a really good one. A lot of people are very hesitant to release, and then in the panic situation you think, oh, I need to hold on to my gear, it's expensive, or maybe I can relaunch my kite. But I mean, your life is more important than a kite.
You're mostly kiting with a leash on your board as well. Yeah. So I had that my board leash and my bar was like in one nut, and then you can't release anymore. Yeah. So it's.
And then you have to try to find your board leash.
In a really big down wave, you can also your kite. If you are above the water, getting some air, you can be dragged below the wave again because your kite is below. Yeah. You can even have it in the North Sea on a small day with onshore winds. Like you crash your kite and you will be pulled under the water.
Yeah, and I can imagine with a big wave that can be pretty terrible. And sometimes the kite might just survive and get washed in, and then you can still fix it. Or
yes, a lot of time it survives.
Yeah. Normally it's okay, and even if the leading edge pops, then it's a cheaper repair than replacing your life, which you can't replace. Well, super cool. Thanks for coming over and explaining a little bit about your big wave adventure. What's the next trip going to be?
I'm not sure yet. Yeah. I hope maybe to make a trip to Iceland to have some bigger waves, and then the GKA Mauritius normally is in my planning, and then go to the winter season again
and hopefully
in Europe.
Yeah, and the problem is always you need big waves and wind. So you need
a team that is.
And a team, and so you have to be flexible and be able to drop your stuff and go.
Yes.
Cool. Well, if you've got any questions for Evelien, drop them in the comments below, and we'll try to answer them. Hope you enjoyed this video and a little story about what Evelien does and about big wave surfing. If you're after a board for yourself, so this board is not available in our collection, but the normal Apple peeler is. If you want something like this, you can always send us a message and we'll be able to make you a custom board, like just as we did for you. So hope to see you next time in one of our following videos. Cheers.
Bye.